Today is about laying the foundations. Good prep work will make sure our process streamlining is successful. Welcome to part 2 of this 8-part series. Last week we looked at why you should streamline and what can go wrong, and today we will look at how you define your goals, what's the reason why you're streamlining, and how to define your process ready for optimizing it. Hi, I'm Rebecca, a business operations advisor helping busy business owners get more time back. So let's go. So first, let's set our goals. Important with any project you're doing, define what you're trying to achieve. For the purpose of this series, I'm going to assume you want to optimize the core process through your business. That is the process that takes you from customer inquiry to invoice. And before you skip this step and say, I'm streamlining to save time, I urge you to look a little deeper. The core process is what delivers your goods or services to the customers. When we're thinking about how to optimize, we need to understand what does optimize mean, what we're trying to achieve with the delivery of that process to our clients. To make this easy, I've developed a model that can help you. It's called the Sustainable Profit Model. The Sustainable Profit Model will help you lay out and focus on what drives the profits in your business. Sustainable profit, i.e. continually making as much as we can, is what I assume we are ultimately trying to optimize for. Every business makes money in the same way. They transform raw goods or ideas into something of value for the client, for which they charge revenue, and that good or service is worth more to the client than what they've paid for it. To sustain profit, they have mechanisms to bring in new clients and to ensure existing clients stick about. To complete your own sustainable profit model, you list out the levers or drivers of each of those buckets. And don't skip this step. I've seen business owners who've been in business for 20 years realize new things about their business with this really simple model. But what if you're just optimizing your invoicing process or your holiday request process and not the whole core process? I still think it's valuable to do this exercise, and you'll see why in the upcoming example. But if it isn't your core process that you're looking at, you should also create a list of what's my goals with optimizing this process. So if it's your holiday request one, it might be my goal is to take less time to approve it, I want it to be automated, and I want it to be easier for staff to use, let's say. So let's look at an example of the sustainable profit model. Over to the whiteboard. Okay, so let's look at an example of using the sustainable cost model in real life. So if you're trying to use this for your business, how do you build it out? So once again, the sustainable profit model looks at all of the levers or drivers to sustainable profit in your business. So every business makes money the same way. They have costs, variable costs and fixed costs. The reason why fixed costs are kept separately is operationally, we assume that you can't massively change your fixed costs. They're fixed. So whilst of course they contribute to your business profitability, for the purposes of optimizing your business processes or streamlining your business, we're going to assume that we can't do anything about the fixed costs. So you have your variable costs, which should be less than the revenue that you charge to your customers for the goods or services that you provide, which should be less than the value that your customer gets from your goods or services. And then, of course, to sustain profit, we need to ensure we have mechanisms that are bringing in new customers and mechanisms that are retaining our existing customers, ensuring they're coming back. So let's think about a company that builds websites and look at how we would go about building out this model in real time. So a company that builds websites, let's say that they have, so what's going to contribute to their variable costs? So they're going to have staff, is going to be a big one. So I would add staff. And when we think about variable cost, it's going to be staff time, right? The salaries of the staff is a fairly fixed cost. So really a variable cost is how much time the staff spend on delivering things of value versus admin, any work that doesn't add value to the customer. So I'm going to put staff time. You maybe have some things that you sell onto the client, so maybe you can sometimes include, I don't know, security protocols or something, or maybe you include some kind of other things, other add-ons to the site that would cost money. So I'll write add-ons. Just kind of making this up as we go. What other things would contribute to the variable costs of creating a website? I mean, I think the big one is obviously time. To continue to fill that out and waste too much time. Revenue would obviously, so what drives the revenue? So obviously there's going to be like a volume. So the number of new websites that you build. There's going to be project size. I don't know, maybe you sometimes do websites that are like 3 pages and you charge a couple of thousand, or you sometimes do a crazy interactive membership website that's tens of thousands. I don't know. What else would contribute to changes in the revenue? The add-ons. Etc. So you would kind of fill out that section. Maybe there's maybe you have some kind of subscription model where you do updates for them. So maybe there's kind of upsells. You know, like let's say for example, once a year you fix bugs for them, or maybe there's like an ongoing maintenance thing that they can buy. Let's say ongoing maintenance. Okay, customer value. So obviously, whatever you charge the customer, they need to value it more than whatever the fee is. So what is it about your specific service that customers love? So a website company will be really specific to that company, right? So it could be they're the fastest. It could be they have the coolest graphics. It could be they only build websites for dentists, so they just really nailed how to do the copy for the dentists or something. So this would be really bespoke. So let's make up our fictitious company. Let's say they are niche. So let's say they do build websites for dentists. So let's say industry knowledge. What else could be? It could be talking to people who understand maybe the owner used to run a dental practice. So maybe it's not just understanding the nuances of the industry, but also understanding, speaking the language of the dentist. So let's say speaking the right language. Maybe you've got a great reputation in the industry. Maybe they also value that you're very high quality. It's very difficult to do a fake company. It needs to be an actual real company for you to. But for your own company, you'd probably be able to list these pretty quickly. And the one that I usually find that people forget is the staff time is an attributable cost. That's usually the one that people go, oh, oops, yeah, we didn't know that. Or sometimes they are focusing their time on things that don't drive revenue. So, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. And again, so let's say our lovely company that's making websites for dentists, how are they finding new and how are they doing existing? So I would imagine referrals. Dentists talk to dentists, let's assume. So referrals, and maybe they, so let's say they only do inbound inquiries, maybe they've got ads somewhere, I don't know, let's just say Facebook ads for whatever that may be. And then existing clients, you've got a lot of these things we talked about, so add-ons, kind of upsells, you know, renewing website, that kind of thing. So when you've built this out, like I say, often people, you know this stuff, it's not hard to do, but when it comes to actually optimizing your process, what happens is you realize, we've been focusing on trying to speed up the delivery of our websites. That's not actually what our customers care about. Or we've been trying to focus on making it cheaper, but actually we don't need to make it cheaper because we're offering something that nobody else is offering out there. We really understand how dental practices work, for example. Or we've had our staff focused on something else that isn't actually adding value. Where should we be spending our staff's time? You know, so actually it does pay to do something else when we come down the line to looking at that. So it's really simple, it's not rocket science, but like I say, just having it in front of you just really clarifies what we come to at the next stage. Okay, so we know what we are optimizing for. Next, we need to define the core process so we can streamline it. I like doing this up at a whiteboard, but also a piece of paper would do. Again, assume we're looking at your core business process. We start at when a client makes an inquiry and go all the way through every broad step they go through before they get their invoice. Once you have those broad steps, you can then list out all the actions that take place underneath those steps. So let's take an example. Let's use the example of the website company again and have a look. So let's say this company relies on inbound inquiries. So the first step is incoming email or call, let's say inquiry. Then there is a sales call to build the proposal. The development team create a wireframe and it goes back and forth for approval. Again, there's a bit of back and forth. Then the team builds the site, approval again, tweaks, iron out bugs, signed off by the client, invoice sent. This is the broad process that every client goes through with this company. Then we want to list out all the activities that take place. So under inquiry, we would say monitoring the inbox, answering calls, responding to emails, booking meetings, sending out brochures. Proposal stage, maybe you have sales call, you define the brief, you write the proposal, you build out the costing. Maybe there's chasing the proposal. In wireframe, you would brief the designers, etc, etc, etc. Once you've run through the whole thing, and if you're looking at an individual process, you can obviously do the exact same thing. You are now ripe and ready for the actual work to start next week, where we will look at how do you actually identify opportunities for improvement. See you on Thursday.